Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another special Halloween Closer Look. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my collection of The Ghostbusters. No, not that Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. Oh, you've never heard of them? Well, stay tuned, because we're going to check it out today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. So, a few years before Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson, and Harold Ramis, it's not like Egon isn't my favorite character in the whole franchise or anything. Wow, my brain was mush that night. Started busting ghosts in the international cinematic sensation that we all know and love. There was a little Saturday morning show produced by Filmation in 1975. It was a live-action show called The Ghostbusters, and it starred F Troop alumni Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker as Spencer and Kong, ably assisted by the super-intelligent gorilla Tracy, played by Gorilla Suit Master Bob Burns. So needless to say, 9 years later, when Ghostbusters came out from Columbia Pictures, Filmation was like, hey, hold on a second, just wait a second. That's ours. You took our name. There was a little bit of a lawsuit. They settled amicably, and Columbia was allowed to use the name. Now, a couple years later, in 1986, we got an animated series based on the movie called The Real Ghostbusters, which many of you may be familiar with. That same year, however, Filmation stepped up and put out an animated series of their own, based on the old live-action show, and called it simply Filmation's Ghostbusters. It was also known as the original Ghostbusters, as a direct jab at the real Ghostbusters. So a few years back, good old BCI Eclipse released the whole works. It was the first and, sadly to date, the only time we've had the 1975 live-action series available on DVD. And they also put out the complete animated series as well, all 65 episodes spread across 2 volumes. So let's head on down to the black table and we'll check out all 3 sets of Filmation's Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters you may never have heard of before. Alrighty, so let's begin at the beginning with The Ghostbusters, the live-action series from Filmation from 1975. There you go, the original Ghostbusters. I have very vague memories of watching this as a kid. I honestly don't know for sure. I would have been 3 when this came out originally, so I might be just thinking I saw it. I don't know. So this is notable in that it's one of the few shows left in the Filmation library for which they actually have the original NTSC video masters. Yeah, the whole thing was shot on videotape originally, but a lot of the other shows that Filmation did that were shot on video, they only have PAL versions of them. They don't actually have the original NTSC version, so they have the converted video rather than the first generation NTSC originals. So it's kind of nice that they actually still have the original masters for this. So you'll notice that this set, the video quality is quite a bit nicer than some of the other shot on video shows from around the same time. But yeah, so really nice set from BCI Eclipse. Sadly, of course, long out of print. This goes for a pretty penny online these days. But we maintain hope that there will be some kind of a re-release at some point. Quite a pile of extras on here, too, which is really nice. First time on DVD, yes, and only time on DVD to date. Of course, being a huge fan of the 80s Ghostbusters, I was quite curious about the the original team and what their adventures were like. It's very Scooby-Doo-like, honestly. A lot of kind of running around and being chased by monsters and stuff like that, and just kind of goofy, slapsticky humor. But it's fun. It's cheesy, innocent fun. We watched an episode of this on my Twitch channel last Halloween, and we all had an absolute blast with it. So we'll probably watch another one this year. It's great stuff. Very nice. So, yeah, so double-sided flipper disc there. But let me just slide the insert out here, and we'll take a bit of a less obstructed look. The insert paper is actually on this nice matte finish, very high quality. I really like this a lot. Yeah, BCI Eclipse really did quality work with their sets. The interesting thing about this show also is that almost every occurrence of supernatural goings-on that the Ghostbusters had to deal with all happened in the same mansion. So there was like this one mansion that was constantly being haunted and rehaunted by a variety of ghosts. So kind of strange. I guess they only had the budget for the one set, so they just reused it over and over again. So, yeah. So they essentially had, I guess, two sets. They had the Ghostbusters office, where they would kind of, do some comedic shtick and set up the premise for that week's show. They would do some location shooting, where usually it would be Spencer and Tracy out in the Ghostbusters car getting their mission from Zero, their boss. Their boss is voiced by Lou Scheimer, by the way, the of course producer and founder, one of the founders of Filmation, who also did a lot of voices for characters. Actually, pretty much every Filmation show, Lou Scheimer would get in on the action and do one or more voices. You'll hear his voice pretty much all the time. So as you can see, just a couple of slim cases that fit into the box. And in addition to that, we have a booklet, with all kinds of info about the show. One of the fun things about this show is seeing big name stars appearing in the episodes, usually as the ghosts, or sometimes, if not particularly big name stars, just recognizable stars, often from sitcoms of the era. So the Ghostbusters themselves, speaking of former sitcom stars, were former F Troop alumni Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker, and Tracy the Gorilla was played by Bob Burns, probably one of the most famous gorilla suit actors who ever lived. Great actor. So let's just go over the extras here real quick. So I'll just put the two cases here for you to look at while we go over the extras. They have them listed in a little more detail on the back of the booklet here. So we have interviews, over 20 minutes of fascinating behind-the-scenes stories with the Ghostbusters producer Lou Scheimer and Tracy the Gorilla star Bob Burns. Yes, the man himself. We also have rare footage, the Ghostbusters live-action bumpers, versions 1 and 2. Photo and art galleries. We've got an extensive behind-the-scenes photo gallery, promotional photo gallery, and Tracy the Gorilla photo gallery. You have a bonus episode from the animated Ghostbusters series, I'll Be a Son of a Ghostbuster. And some DVD-ROM features. We've got scripts for all 15 of the Ghostbusters episodes. There are some Easter eggs. You've got English and Spanish language audio tracks and more trailers from Ink and Paint. So some of the other shows that BCI was releasing. Also, all 15 episodes are presented in production order. So basically the optimal viewing order. Not that there's really any continuity between them. They're all very, very much standalone stories. But, I find it interesting to, at the very least, see shows in production order if there isn't an apparent continuity. And I just noticed there's actually pictures inside the case. I don't know how they expect you to ever be able to see those, but there's the Ghostbusters logo there. And then, what is it? Oh, yeah, and then Spencer and Kong, hold on, inside. Yes, Kong was not the gorilla. Kong was the character played by Forrest Tucker. I always thought that was kind of funny how the gorilla was named Tracy, but Kong was the older of the two. I don't know, kind of weird. He's Kong. That's Tracy. He's Spencer. Anyway, this is a very fun show, definitely geared towards younger viewers, and I really like it a lot. It's fun. So next up, 11 years later, in 1986, funny enough, the same year the real Ghostbusters cartoon premiered, we got Filmation's Ghostbusters, which hit the airwaves for a single 65-episode season, straight into syndication. So it was Monday through Friday, 65 episodes. There you go. BCI Eclipse released this as 2 volumes. Very standard format for how they do their cartoon sets, where they'd release, for a 65-episode series, they do half and half, essentially. So this set contains the first 32 of the 65 episodes. And just all the copyright info on the bottom there. So if we slide them out, there we go. So once again, just all slim cases. So let's go through them one by one here. So here's the first one, discs 1 and 2. So this series essentially featured the ongoing adventures of the kids of the original Ghostbusters. So you got Jake Kong Jr. and Eddie Spencer Jr. following in their father's footsteps. I knew there was a booklet in here somewhere. I couldn't remember where it was. So this one we actually do have single-sided discs with some very lovely disc art. That's really nice. And then on the inserts underneath, we actually have some production art. Let's take a look at that. Once again, this lovely matte finish, very, very high quality. So there's Jake. There we go. Just slide that back in. Very nice. And that's very much like the ghost catching equipment that his father used in the original series. Ghost Zapper, I can't remember what they call it, but and here is discs 3 and 4. There we go, all the episodes that are on there. Crack her open. Yeah, so in this case, it was structured a little differently than the live-action show. Rather than being a single mansion in which the various goings-on were happening. Of course, being a cartoon, they could open things up a little bit more. But they had sort of a standard rogues gallery of ghosts and monsters that they were constantly having to deal with. So there wasn't as much variety there. With the original series, of course, there was a little more variety just in the ghosts they would deal with because it was different every week. And then in this case, it's sort of a hodgepodge or mix and match of the standard rogues gallery. So this is Jessica Ray, I guess a reporter friend of theirs, looks like. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched this show. Love the matte finish. Nice heavy paper stock on these, too. Very, very high quality. This is one of the earlier releases that they did, too, so they were still kind of in high quality mode for their packaging and whatnot. And then finally we have Tracy adorning the last set for Volume 1. This is discs 5 and 6. There's all the episodes on the back. Crack her open. And there we go. A couple more ghoulies from the Rogues Gallery there. So we'll just slide this out here. So this is it's basically 5 discs of episodes and then a disc of special features. So there's some of the production art for Tracy. I think it's supposed to be the same Tracy that was in the original series. Tracy hasn't changed a bit, really. I guess they inherited Tracy from from their parents. And there we go. And then if we take a look at the booklet, I always like the booklets that BCI did because they always put all kinds of interesting tidbits in here. Yeah, see, every single episode has trivia and little behind-the-scenes tidbits, which is really cool. I love how they do that. And there we go. So just episode-by-episode breakdowns, and then you get a list of all of the special features there. And an ad for some of the other stuff as well. So the, yeah, I guess the cartoon had come out before the live-action series, but there's an ad for the live-action series. And then Mission Magic, which was the series starring Rick Springfield. And then Groovy Ghoulies. That one I definitely watched as a kid. I remembered it. It just all came flooding back to me when I watched it, when I got the DVD set. I was like, oh my god, I remember this show. But, yeah, when I was quite young, basically watched it when it was originally on. So let's just go over the extras here for a sec. We'll just put all three of those out for you, and we'll see what we have for extras on this set. It mentions in the booklet here that this special collector's edition of Ghostbusters features the first 32 episodes of this bewitching animated series. The episodes are presented in story continuity order, so there is actually a continuity to them, which varies slightly from the original production and broadcast order. Well, that's really cool. Again, another wonderful attention to detail from BCI Eclipse. Like, I love when companies do that. And I will always take story continuity order over everything else. So in the special features, we got creator interviews featuring producer Lou Scheimer, writer Bobby London, and directors Tom Tataranovich and Tom Cito. The first Ghostbusters anti-drug spot. The original 10-minute presentation of the promo pilot for Filmation's Ghostbusters, the animated series. A storyboard slideshow for episode 22, Laser and Future Rock. Image galleries of Ghostbusters heroes, including the original model sheets and sketches, plus original promotional art. English and Spanish audio for all 32 episodes. DVD-ROM feature the complete 5-episode script for the Ghostbusters origin story. And a bonus episode of the Ghostbusters live-action series, episode number 1, The Maltese Monkey, featuring the ghoul-busting trio, Forrest Tucker as Jake Kong, Larry Storch as Eddie Spencer, and Bob Burns as the super-smart gorilla, Tracy. So there you go. So, if you can't afford to get the Ghostbusters live-action set, you might be able to find this one a little cheaper, and at least you can get an episode of it. Some is better than none, right? But, yeah, needless to say, among some of my more prized possessions, it's definitely nice to have these. So that is Volume 1. And then last but most certainly not least, we have Volume 2, presenting the final 33 episodes of Filmation's Ghostbusters. Very nice indeed. There we go. And once again, just all the copyright info on the bottom. And all the contents on the back. Okay. So, let's see what we've got on this one. So we have discs 1 and 2 with Eddie Spencer Jr. on the cover. Very nice. And there's the spine. Yeah, I really miss the days of packaging like this, where everything's just packaged so securely and so nicely, and, you know, all the discs kind of get their individual tray or, you know, hubs, and they don't scratch each other or anything like that. And nice package art, and also having everything in individual slim cases like this means more package art, so we get all this additional package art for all the individual slim cases, which is great. So I love that. I have a lot of sets like this, like older DVD sets, but it seems like as the years went on, DVD sets just kind of got skimpier and skimpier with their packaging, and now you're lucky if you get them not on a spindle or something. You know, they just kind of be all stacked together in a flimsy box, and yeah, just seems to be the least amount of effort possible nowadays. And discard, what discard? And insert book, what insert book? Yeah, the only ones that really sort of consistently do that all the time is the boutique labels, which I guess technically BCI Eclipse was, so hence the additional effort. Look how beautiful and colorful this discard is, and it's individual discard for each disc, which is great. It's just beautiful. So here we have Futura character art there, or character profiles. Very nice. Yeah, I love all this. It's great stuff. And BCI did this for all of their sets. So whatever show you were a fan of, you could be assured that it would get the royal treatment. Like, all of them equally got the royal treatment. It was just such a wonderful label that did some really fantastic sets. But as I've said in other overviews of BCI Eclipse sets, I think what ended up happening was the supply outweighed the demand, and they literally just kind of collectors setted themselves out of business. They released just everything they had the license to, just boom, 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 one set after the other, and then they went bankrupt. So this is Madam Y. Yes, there we go. Very nice. I think this is just the bonus features, isn't it? Oh no, it's the last few. There's the last 3 episodes on this disc, and then the bonus features. So speaking of the bonus features, let's go over those. Oh, actually, first let's take a quick look at the insert book here. Very nice. Once again, episode by episode breakdowns and little trivia tidbits for literally every single episode, which is fantastic. I've seen cartoon sets from other companies, which I won't name here, that had accompanying booklets and boasted about the fact that they had trivia tidbits in the episode guide, and you go in and there was literally, like, over the course of 98 episodes, 3 little snippets of trivia that weren't even particularly interesting or informative. Meanwhile, you have BCI Eclipse doing trivia tidbits for literally every episode. Like, come on. Come on. So, I don't know. Like, to me, this was the gold standard by which I expected others to aspire to, you know? And, you know, most of the boutique labels do nowadays. They're pretty good, but I don't know. Anyway, let's spread these out here. We'll just pull back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so extras for Volume 2, all on Disc 5. I don't know why they did. It's odd that they did 1 fewer disc for this set, yet it's 1 more episode than the previous set. I guess maybe they had more extras in the other set. Well, I don't know. It seems about the same to me. So anyway, special features, creator interviews featuring voice actor Pat Fraley and storyboard artists Rob Lamb and Michael Swanigan. The 4th Ghostbusters anti-drug spot. So they only have 2 of the 4. Is that what's going on there? I don't know, because they said they had the first one on the first set. So where's the 2nd and 3rd? Anyway, the original unaired presentation for Filmation's Ghostbusters the Animated Series from August of 1985. Image galleries of Ghostbusters villains, including the original model sheets and sketches, plus original background art. The Magic of Filmation documentary, a half-hour history of one of America's most influential animation studios, with producers, writers, animators, historians, and other Filmation personnel. Yeah, that particular documentary is duplicated several times over. It's actually on a lot of the BCI Eclipse Filmation sets. I guess they figured not everyone's going to be an obsessive collector like me and get every single one of them. And, it was a great documentary, really interesting and informative, and talking with everybody who was still alive at the time, and it's great stuff. We've got English and Spanish audio for all 33 episodes. And DVD-ROM features, this is pretty cool. We've got 5 complete episode scripts and the Ghostbusters series Bible. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that would be a guide that all of the people working on it would refer to make sure that everything remains consistent. It's very common practice for a TV show to have a series Bible, so to make sure everybody stays on the same page, doesn't contradict continuity or do things that are out of character for characters, things like that. So that's very cool that they included that. And as a bonus, they include another episode of the Ghostbusters live-action series entitled Dr. What's-His-Name, featuring the ghoul-busting trio, Forrest Tucker as Kong, Larry Storch as Eddie Spencer, and Bob Burns as the super smart gorilla Tracy. And once again, it mentions that this presents the final 33 episodes in story continuity order. So there you go, the complete saga of Filmation's Ghostbusters in the optimal presentation, looking fantastic. And there we go. So let's get the whole works up here. And there we go. The entire saga of Filmation's Ghostbusters from BCI Eclipse. And there you go. I'm sure you'll agree, some very lovely sets, all of which are sadly out of print. But that said, I will include Amazon links in the description below. Sometimes you get lucky with third-party sellers and you can find them for a decent price. Alas, that's the best I can do for you. But thank you very much for those of you who use my Amazon links, because it does help to support the show very directly. It doesn't cost you any more. You're literally just supporting the show as you shop, because they send me a little kickback for each one of your purchases, which is quite nice. So really appreciate those of you who use my links. Thank you very much. So that is it from me to you for now. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. Be sure to catch me on Twitch. I stream just about every day. And I will see you next time. Until then, sayonara.